all of you, I'm a giant Harry Potter fan. I am really, really glad that more of the Wizarding World is coming to the screen, and really grateful to these filmmakers that I'm about to bring out for giving us all something to look forward to the next few years. Especially great news this week. All right. So excited to have these people with us today. I'm honored to be standing up here with them, and I'm going to introduce them to you right now. Starring as Jacob Kowalski, who is the first nomad who you may know as a Muggle to be a leading character in one of the films from the Wizarding World, Dan Fogler. Starring as the beautiful and warm-hearted Queenie Goldstein, a witch who can read minds, Alison Sudol. The incredible award-winning director at the helm of Fantastic Beasts, and he also directed the final 4 Harry Potter blockbusters, David Yates. She is the reason, ultimately, that we are all here. She is the creator of the Wizarding World, and that world also changed our world forever. She is a producer on this film, and she is also making her screenwriting debut, J.K. Rowling. It's such a big deal to be in a room with J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, she stays upright.
Yeah. Starring as the courageous and compassionate Wizarding World magizoologist, Newt Scamander, one of the nicest men in show business, Eddie Redmayne. The Oscar-nominated producer of all 8 Harry Potter films, which remain the top-grossing film franchise of all time. We'll be handing out money after we're done. Of course, he is a producer on Fantastic Beasts, David Heyman. Starring as the smart, determined, and compassionate witch, Tina Goldstein, your leading lady, Catherine Waterston. He stars as the mysterious young man, Credence Barebone, in the film, and he may know more about the Harry Potter universe than anyone on this dais, with the exception of one person. Ezra Miller. I think we're getting a quick photo, and then you can all take your seats, and then we'll get started.
Where are we looking? Okay, yeah.
Good. Okay, thank you.
Yay. Well, first I want to congratulate everybody and thank you for the film. And it is, again, really fun to be here. I'm going to kick off with a few questions before we go to all of you. And the first question is, of course, for Jo Rowling. Hi. Tell us, please, when you started to think that you wanted to revisit this on the big screen, revisit the world of Harry Potter on the big screen, and why did you decide to do the screenplay yourself?
I knew that Warner Brothers wanted to do something with Fantastic Beasts. They'd optioned it a long time ago. And when I wrote the little book that I wrote for charity, the character of Newt appealed to me, and as often happened with the Potterverse, I had some thoughts about what had happened to Newt and who Newt was. And I don't think at that stage I ever imagined writing a screenplay. Then when Warners came to me and said they did now want to do something with Fantastic Beasts, I thought, no, wait a moment. I'd better tell them what I've got, because I wouldn't want them to get Newt wrong, because I knew I liked Newt. And then before I knew it, I'd actually written it. I sat down to write some notes, and then I wrote a story, and then that story became a screenplay. So it was never really a calculated, I think I want to revisit the world. It came the way these things always do through a story.
And with obviously doing a screenplay, very different medium
Very different.
Than a novel. Did you read books on screenplay writing? Did people help you?
I did buy a book that I never read. I just sat on my desk, and I don't really know. I think I felt like that was my homework, but I hadn't actually done my homework. Maybe I just thought I would absorb it somehow by a line, by my busy. I was very involved with the pod scripts in as much as I had script approval, and I spoke a lot to Steve Close about what he was doing. So I would say that Steve was my tutor on this, and it's a reason that I was so keen to have him attached to this project, because I knew he would be the guy I could phone at 4 a.m. if I needed to. I never phoned him at 4 a.m. But I suppose I could have done it. I think he would have been okay with that.
You could if you wanted to, I'm just saying.
What, just to be horrible? Just to wake him up?
He has to take your call, no matter
No,
what.
it's not. I wouldn't do it just because I could. I would have to be pretty desperate to phone him at 4 a.m.
In all of the Harry Potter films, we of course know the characters before we see the film because we've read the books. In this particular case, we are meeting these characters for the first time. So I want to ask, and I'll start with Dan on the end. I want to ask all of the actors to just tell us a little bit about your character. Tell us a little bit about Jacob Kowalski. Who is he?
Wow. I haven't done this in front of her. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Okay, so Jacob's back from World War I, and all he wants to do is settle down and open up a bakery, and he gets mixed up with these witches and wizards, and it's a lot like, I equate it to like Bottom from Midsummer Night's Dream, or I grew up with Where the Wild Things Are, Max, he goes to, Bottom gets to go into the forest, play with the magical creatures, and he falls in love with Titania, and that's what Jo does so well. It's in the zeitgeist already, these characters are iconic, archetypical hero's journey. I'm the baker from the fairy tale, and that's him.
Alison Sudol. Alison Sudol, tell us about Queenie.
I'm equally nervous. Queenie is the most delightful human being. She is warm-hearted. She is full of love and light. She's so accepting. These two sort of rascals walk into their apartment, a criminal and nomad, which is totally not allowed, and she makes them dinner. She's lovely inside and out, but she also has this ability that makes her particularly special, which is that she reads minds, but it's not just reading a person's immediate thoughts. She is reading a person's story. She's reading into them. The more that she tunes into a person, the more that she sees. She's this extraordinary empath, and it's a gift that comes in handy quite a bit in this film, but also just has given her a really interesting quality, because while she is so loving and outgoing, she's always looking out and she's always receiving, and that's actually made her a tiny bit isolated in a certain way. It's kept her very pure because she's been protected mainly by her sister, really, Tina. She's been allowed to stay pure. But yeah, she's a wonderful character. I love her very much.
Eddie, tell us a little bit about Newt Scamander, please.
So I play Newt Scamander, who is a self-proclaimed magizoologist, and he attended Hogwarts. He was thrown out under slightly questionable circumstances, and he is passionate about creatures. So in the magical world of this period, magical creatures, because sometimes they're deemed uncontrollable, or they have erratic behavior, or behavior that the wizards can't necessarily understand, they could give away that wizards exist, and he is incredibly compassionate and a loving man, and he loves them and believes that they're misunderstood. So he has spent the year at the beginning of this film in the field in Equatorial Guinea and all around the world, finding, saving, and learning about magical creatures, and they live, some of them, in his case. But what I love about Newt is he's not very good with human beings or with wizards. He doesn't have a particular social capacity, but he is formidable with his creatures. And when he arrives at the beginning of this film, he arrives in New York, he scrutinizes this landscape as if it were an ant's nest, but he feels very content in his own skin and doesn't really feel the need for other people. And so he's a bit prickly and knotty and not necessarily someone that you instantly go, oh, I'm sort of warm to, but through finding these people, these other outsiders, which is what Joe writes so sensationally, is they bring out qualities in each other and they better themselves through coming together. And that's kind of who Newt is.
Catherine, what about Tina?
Yeah, Porpentina. I love saying it. So her full name is Porpentina Goldstein, and she's Queenie's older sister. They were orphaned as children, and she, because she was the elder sister, sort of had to take on probably very adult positions she wasn't quite ready for, and as a result, she's very capable and confident in some ways and in some arenas, and like Newt, she thrives in certain aspects of her life, areas of her life, but other parts of her are quite stunted, and because she never had that opportunity